Joining me on the program on a very pivotal day in Oklahoma education policy is Senate Education Chairman Adam Pugh himself. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it.
Oh, I love being on. Thank you, Rick, for having me.
Your reaction to what has been a wild 24 hours no one saw coming.
It has been a wild 24 hours for sure. I mean, I think I probably share with most Oklahomans feel surprised. I mean, I really, this caught me by surprise, as I'm sure it did most people who are, whether you operate inside the Capitol or, you're a mom or dad at home. I think when you caught this news, it was surprising to me. I think in the end, the mission of the agency has to go on, right? And so that's really important. I think the distractions in the news cycle, I understand because it was big news. And he's obviously been a very polarizing figure inside the state of Oklahoma. But most importantly, there's a lot of still really good men and women at the State Department of Education. I actually met with some of them this morning to just try to be helpful and be a facilitator because they still have a really important job to do. I even spoke with Superintendent Walters last night after he made his announcement because there's going to be some transition assistance necessary as the agency transitions from the superintendent to whoever the governor happens to appoint next.
What is the next process? Governor appointment, Senate votes on it?
No, it does not require a Senate confirmation.
Okay.
So the governor will have the authority to appoint the next individual to lead the State Department until the next election cycle. So you're really looking at through the next legislative session and into the next election cycle, the governor will name that person as the interim State Superintendent of Education, and really whoever it is will be something that the legislature, both my committee, my counterparts in House of Representatives, will work with that individual to help them be successful because there's 700,000 plus kids in the state of Oklahoma that need that agency to continue doing its job.
I think that's one of the key things I wanted to ask you about was whether whatever his plans were. We have a year and some change before that 2027 election where we were going to have change. How do we chart the course for that next year and make sure that year isn't wasted? I mean, every minute we spend talking about it is another moment of childhood that goes away. What is the path forward here?
That's a great point, Rick. I've said that many times. If you think about a child's educational journey, it's 13 years long. I mean, that's it, right? And so we don't have time to mess it up. We don't have time to take years and years to figure this out. There has to be an urgency here. So as the Senate Education Chair, I'm going to work with whoever the interim is, but that may take a little bit of time. I don't know the governor's timeline. I have not communicated with him. But I felt it was important for me to talk to Superintendent Walters and then talk to the staff there at the State Department that we would normally interact with anyway. Look, they've got to present a budget to the legislature by October 1st. Yeah. That's really important because we're already starting to think about what's the next year's financial picture look like and what are our priorities. There are still bills that were passed in this past legislative session, some of them I own, like the statewide tutoring initiative for students in reading and math, the Grow Your Own program, which I think is wildly popular across school districts, but we need some help from the State Department to implement those pieces of legislation. And I just wanted to offer, this really the entire Senate Education Committee as a resource to those people who are still in the agency because we don't want service interrupted to those kids.
Well, I was wondering, and the board did put off that budget vote. Was that wise since he's not going to be there anymore? Or?
It's concerning because we're butting up against a deadline. October 1st is the statutory deadline that they have to submit that budget request to our agency as well as through the executive branch. So I haven't communicated with any of the board members from the State Department of Education. I think they understand that there has to be an urgency to this, and they know that the legislature will stand ready to help them. And over the next few months, we may have to make some revisions to it, right? But I think in the end, we want to offer ourselves as a partner in this, especially maybe as folks in the agency feel that there's a little bit of chaos right now and distraction. We know there's 500 plus school districts that still need a lot of support from the State Department of Education. I've already started communicating with some school district leaders because there's been some unanswered questions with respect to teacher certifications and things like that that school districts are still waiting on.
So at the same time, we did talk about, every minute is valuable, but this has been a heavy-handed person who has occupied so much of our time. Do we need a week to breathe?
I think oftentimes in politics, because it's an elected position, right? And so in some ways, whether someone wants it to be political or not, it is. I just think overall, Rick, really we have to step back sometimes from politics. I mean, I really do feel that way and realize what's the most important thing going on in my life? It's what happens inside the four walls of my own home, right? We're moms and dads, and we're husbands and wives, and we have businesses, and we just care about the things that everyday Oklahomans care about. They care about their job, and is my neighborhood safe? Are my kids getting a good education? And sometimes I think overall it's healthy for us to step back and maybe disengage a little bit and turn off the TV or turn off, especially social media. You've heard me say that a lot. Turn off the social media and just go live your lives. And I think oftentimes that's actually the answer to a lot of our questions is what can we solve at that most local level instead of relying on a government agency or the state to help us solve our problems. And I think sometimes if people had that perspective, maybe we'd be less wrapped up in the politicization of issues that really shouldn't be, right? I mean, I've said many times, this is the most personal thing we do. Yeah. And it's the most common experience Oklahomans have, raising their kids and sending them to school. And so, yeah, I think it's healthy for everybody to step back and take a breath and say, we're going to be okay. I mean, we're going to be okay. There's a lot of still really good people that want to serve those kids and help school districts be successful. I've talked to a number of legislators, obviously, over the past 24 hours that are ready to step forward and say, okay, what do we need to do so that services don't get interrupted and questions get answered? And that's why I talked to Superintendent Walters himself last night and just wanted to know how I could be helpful as the agency goes through a major transition.
Thank you so much, Senator. I appreciate it. We'll be watching.
Yeah, thanks for having me.